Oh boy. Look at that. Ever seen such a terrible sight?
That's tougher to find two ugly people in one country.
Hey, you want to hear a funny joke?
Sure.
Okay, I'm gonna tell a joke. There was these three women. Oh, you know what? Somebody's gonna remember they've heard this joke, I'm sure. But anyway, three women died and they went to heaven, right? And when they get to heaven, St. Peter meets them at the gate, at the heaven's door there, and as they come in, he says, "Okay, there's only one rule. Whatever you do, don't step on any of the ducks." I'm like, okay, that seems like a very strange rule. Why wouldn't you be allowed to step on any ducks? That doesn't make any sense. But anyway, so they said, okay, fine, fair enough. And what happens if you do? Well, he says, if you step on any ducks, you'll get chained to the ugliest man around forever, for all eternity, and you'll be stuck to him for the rest, for eternity. He said, okay, that's fine, whatever. So anyway, so he opens the doors of heaven, and they all three women go in, and what do you know? There's ducks everywhere. I mean, it's almost like a sea of ducks. So they're walking around in heaven for a little bit, and within half an hour or so, one of the women, she accidentally steps on a duck, a big quack. Next thing you know, St. Peter comes running over, and he's bringing along this really ugly guy, and he grabs his chain and he chains the woman that stepped on the duck to this ugly guy. He says, "There you go, you're stuck with him for eternity." She's like, "Oh, well, great, fine." Anyway, so the next two women are pretty freaked out by that, so they're being very careful, and they're walking around and looking at all the wonderful sights in heaven, and within a couple hours later, the second woman, she steps on a duck, quack, and next thing you know, there's St. Peter again, another really ugly guy. And he brings this ugly guy over, and he chains this woman to this really ugly guy, and he says, "There, you're stuck with that guy for all of eternity." And he turns and he walks away. So the third woman, now she's being very, very careful. She's tiptoeing around. She doesn't want to be stuck chained to the ugly guy for eternity. So she's very, very careful. And she goes almost an entire day, and she doesn't step on any ducks. And that's wonderful. But next thing you know, she sees St. Peter coming over towards her, and he's really, really handsome man with him. I mean, this guy is drop dead gorgeous, flowing hair, and he's manly and a very handsome fellow. Comes walking up to her. He doesn't say a word, but he has a chain with him, and he grabs this woman, and he chains this woman and this man together, and without a word, he turns and he walks away. And she's like, "Oh my goodness!" She looks at the man. She says, "Oh, what did I ever do to deserve this?" And the man looks at her. He says, "I don't know." He says, "All I know is I just stepped on a duck." What do you think?
That's good.
But anyway, you know what? Being serious, we just this is Roger, and of course, if you've been watching my videos, you've seen that I've had 2 interviews with you, and so I thought, one demo, yeah. We've worked together a few times, and we just went out and did a few jobs today, and so I thought maybe it might be a good idea to do a little touch the base with Rogers, what we call it? We come up with a new Rogers Rug.
No, don't go there.
No, come on, we had it. Rogers Rug
Rescue.
Rogers Rug Rescue. Rogers Rug Rescue. Is that your new business name? No. Okay, but seriously, how long have you been doing the low moisture now? He came over from the dark side. He was a hot water extraction guy, and then how long ago?
I counted the middle of March is my real when I got all the equipment and all the right pads and all the right solutions.
Mm-hmm.
So since then,
now there's inquiring minds want to know, was this a good idea?
Yeah, I have to say it has been. I had lots of doubts, constantly thinking, would the truck mount do better? And I think in the early days, I probably could have done better the truck mount as I was learning, if I'm being honest.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
Yeah. But it's been a long time. Not a long time. It's been at least a month since I've had that thought.
Yeah.
Because when I look at jobs now and I work at them, learn to be a bit more patient, give it some dwell time. We got different pads to try out and experiment with, and I've been really happy. And not only that, people are telling me, that they're really happy with the work.
You're getting the feedback.
I'm getting feedback, yeah.
Yeah.
And if, I guess I'm typical of a lot of people. If I was in doubt and then I kind of try and judge the customer, the way that they're looking at what I was doing, and read into their mind, trying to read their mind and what they're thinking, and thinking the most negative things, it's not coming out, they're not happy. And so I would just say, "Well, what do you think?" And every time, I never thought it'd come out that nice. Or something similar. It looks great. Even on stuff that I wasn't completely happy with, they were really happy with. So I had to really adjust the way I look at things. And I had the same thought process when I was truck mounting. I remember back to that, always in doubt. If if I've done a good enough job. And at the end of the day, you can only spend so much time, and you try everything. And then if it doesn't come any better, that's the best you can do. So,
Are you saying now? So if you walk into it, it's just an average sort of job that you do. If you walk in the door with if you had your truck mount parked in the driveway, or you had the option of using either your low moisture, your rotary VLM system, as opposed to the truck mount, which system would you choose?
yeah, I'd go low moisture every time.
Why?
Number one is the people are happy that it's dry quickly. Number two, I can see the end result. I don't have to worry about, oh, is that going to reappear? Is that wicking going to happen? Because I can deal with it at the time. And if I can't get a traffic area out as well as I thought I could after trying all the techniques I've learned, then I just know it's not going to come any better.
Have you actually have you gone back on jobs that you thought maybe you could have done better, and have you seen that the job actually turned out after it actually totally dried looked even better than you thought?
I've been back, not very often, a couple times where I've gone back to a place to maybe do upholstery as an add-on, and noticed the carpet looked better when it was dry.
So when you left, it actually looked better.
Yeah, it looked a little splotchy. I was kind of concerned about it.
But
And
then
I've gone back and you just don't
no
see
issue
it.
at all. It was
No
like
issue
look
at all.
fine, look perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. That's what I find. The system. I find with the system, sometimes you'll look at the carpet and you'll think to yourself, well, maybe it could have been, it could look better. But the reality is that when it totally dries within a few hours, because although it is dry to the touch within an hour or so, it actually has in 24 hours it actually brightens up even more.
Yeah.
And that's one thing you never had occur with steam cleaning. It never looked better the day before, the day after.
No.
No,
Look
it
good
always
right now. Get your money and run.
Really?
Yeah. I did have the chance to go back on a job. This lady, I cleaned the carpet and her office with low moisture, and I cleaned the microfiber sofa, and she had a sofa and a love seat, and I cleaned the sofa with the Von Schroeder machine. And this is when I was still learning how to use it, so I was still kind of skeptical about my ability to get it really clean.
Yeah.
And I thought, no, the truck mount could do better, and I happened to have it insured because I was moving it into storage. And so I told her, I'm going to come back tomorrow with the truck mount, and I'll do the love seat. And because these are really dirty.
Redo it. You mean?
Really dirty. And lo and behold, I'm doing the love seat, and it's not cleaning up any better than the sofa did. And I was commenting to her, I said, I really thought this would clean up better because I've used this for 13 years with upholstery. And she says, oh, I've washed those cushions in the washing machine. They don't come any better than that. Right? So number one, I learned that the Von Schroeder worked better than I thought it did. And number two, that the truck mount, with upholstery, I thought the hot water and all that extra moisture would really make a difference. Really, it didn't. Now, in the office, which was a glue down commercial type carpet Verber, very tight Verber, I cleaned that with the truck mount, and it looked a little bit light around the edges. And what I realized that happened was that it had wicked up because I'd gotten it too wet, and there was this fine layer of like dust almost. And as soon as I put the wand over it, that disappeared. But the rest of the room did not improve, and I'd spent a bit of time on the traffic areas in there. A very small office right by an outside door, and the truck mount didn't improve that at any. But what it did do is take that little bit of yellowing around the one edge of the wall where I'd overwet it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I knew what it was, because as soon as I went over it, it was like it came right up. But the rest of the room, it was darker, didn't make a iota of difference. Yeah.
Okay, so are you having one of the questions that people who are using hot water extraction right now, they're thinking about maybe going to VLM. One of the questions that they would ask is, how do I convince people that I'm going to actually be able to clean the carpet with this, a rotary or an OP or whatever, as opposed to my big powerful truck sitting outside with the pressure, pressure spraying the water in and sucking it out. How do are you running into resistance with that people's perception?
Not resistance, but people are curious more than anything else. And I thought I would get more resistance. I really did. Here's what I tell them, and it works well for me. I say carpet cleaning, no matter what method you use, it's always the same. You have a staining agent that you have to chemically unbind from the fibers. You have to use a alkaline side cleaning solution, and then you have to agitate that in to loosen those staining agents from the fibers. So the truck mount, we used hot water, high pressure, the kinetic energy, removed that. But it also drove it down into the backing, and then you're hoping that your vacuum is sufficient to pull that back up. I go with this, the scrub pad does the agitation, creates an emulsion where it sits in there until I go over it with the cotton pad. And then you can look at the cotton pad and see how much soil you brought up. And they go, that makes sense. And this idea that you have to really scrub or really get it wet to clean, because that's all they know, that's all they've experienced. But a simple explanation of how cleaning actually works, they go, yeah, I can see that. And then the results speak for themselves.
Results. I was going to say that.
Yeah.
Then when you're done. So over the last nearly a year, have you cleaned carpets that were previously steam cleaned?
Yes, I was going to tell you that story. This lady, she had a white carpet sunk in the room, an older house,
Yeah.
that I'd cleaned the year before, and she was ecstatic and told all her friends and neighbors about me. And I come up with this new system.
Okay, so
And
but
she's
you steam cleaned the first time.
Yeah, steam cleaned the first time, and it was black coming off of the kitchen, the first step, and a little bit of the living room,
Yeah.
which is typical when you come off of a tile surface. At both ends, one in the hallway, the other one was the kitchen.
Right.
And it was a Berber, white Berber, and they were black. And this low moisture I did with the scrub pad came up really nice. I went over the stairs with the orbiter because there was a little step, and then the first couple of feet into it I also did with the orbiter. I'm finding that really works well for bad traffic areas. It brings up the extra little bit. And she says, yeah, it's every bit as good as you did it last time with the truck mount. And she asked for some cards so she could pass them around. So there's a job right. I remember the job, and I compared it. I go, yeah, this looks fantastic. And she had coffee stains on there that came up, which she was more concerned about. Came up beautifully. And I did that job I told you the other day about the guy with the big dog in the basement, and there's huge, almost dinner plate size doggy spots.
Oh yeah.
And I talked to him last night, and he said it looks fantastic.
Wow.
And
Okay.
when I was done, it looked fantastic.
So that's another question is, how do you deal with PP, and sort of in similar to that question would be, are you deep cleaning?
Right. So my explanation to them gets around the deep cleaning thing because it makes sense. We're agitating all the fiber with the scrub pad, and that vibration or energy that you're doing is going to clean all the way down. And then you're only pulling it up. You're only going in one direction, basically.
As opposed to pressure spraying it into the backing and then try to suck it back out through.
Right. And they really understand the concept that there's urine salts deposited under there because of gravity that you're going to reactivate, and that's going to wick up. And everybody understands that.
Right.
And so and I speak very confidently because I got so much experience with it now, and I can say when I use the truck mount, it would always wick up because I'd have to work really hard to clean it, and then I would over wet it, and there's nothing you can do about that. But now I say I can work it really hard, but I'll never get wet enough to reactivate that. That's a hidden problem. You don't have to worry about it anymore.
You're using the CLO2 now too.
And of course, yes, I'm using the CL2. I mean, the right product,
Yeah.
the right methodology. But the amount of moisture you put down is really at least 50% of the key
Yeah.
because you're not reactivating a problem.
Okay.
And as long as they don't see it and don't smell it, it doesn't exist.
And the CLO2 actually kills the bacteria anyway, and,
Right.
and breaks it down to its base elements of carbons and water. So it's literally chemically, I guess you could say, it's actually accelerating the decomposition of the urine. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah. So you have a truck mount for sale, I guess. Eh?
I do. Yeah, I got all the goodies with it too. Rotovac, tile, grout cleaning.
And you're driving around on a really nice Uplander, eh?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, my wife drove it for the first time the other day. She had to.
Yeah.
And she goes, "It's much nicer than my car."
Ooh. They're nice. We're sitting in my Uplander, by the way, in case you're wondering. I'm a little partial to the Uplanders. They're such a very comfortable vehicle to drive, and better on fuel than your truck mount was, eh?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I'd say a little bit.
A lot of it.
Yeah.
So,
a lot quieter.
and at the end of the day, after you were out there steam cleaning all day, how would you feel physically at the end of the day as compared to nowadays?
Yeah, one of the downsides of doing this method, I'm actually getting weaker.
Weaker.
I don't think I could physically do a full day of wand anymore.
No. Oh, it's just
This
brutal.
is just so much easier. So it's smooth and easy. And I get a lot of older people go, wow, that must be easier than what you used to do. I get that a lot. They recognize, and I say, yeah, end of the day, I'm still as fresh as the beginning of the day, so I can do a good job.
Yeah, that's
Always
true.
turn it into a positive.
And the thing about as opposed to using a wand, which you are the motor of, I mean, when you're cleaning with a rotary machine, I mean, if you're tired, you just slow down. But the machine doesn't slow down.
No.
It just keeps rotating at 360 degree passes per second for a 175 or so. And as far as investment is into the amount of money that you spent. Now you bought all your equipment's been used so far.
Yeah.
But you haven't really spent very much money to get into the business. Any idea how much you spent?
Maybe 5,000 if you include all the pads and all the solutions I bought.
Yeah.
5 or 6,000 Canadian.
Which
I mean,
is-
everything in the States is half price.
Yeah.
I mean, the Oric Orbot,
Yeah, I know.
$569 Canadian on sale in the States for $250 right now.
I know, it's crazy, eh?
I mean, I was all excited when I saw that. I was going to go buy an extra one until I realized the guy in the
No,
Facebook
no.
group was from the States.
You got to pay for all your free stuff in Canada.
Yeah.
What do you think? What's the most important? If there was one thing that would epitomize, I guess, what is the most important thing you've learned in the last year? What would it be? Do you think?
On the cleaning side,
Just if somebody was saying, why should I do this? I've got a truck mount. I'm comfortable with it. Or maybe they're not comfortable with it. They're trying to decide whether they should or they shouldn't. Kind of go VLM. What would be the most important piece of advice that you could give them? I mean, you're a steam cleaner that's gone VLM. So somebody says, okay, well, why should I? Why?
well, there's not just one thing, but if I was to say one thing, I said pick versatility. I can get in the top floor of any apartment building. I can do long hallways in commercial buildings.
No, not enough worry about security, doors open
Not
and
for
stuff.
security doors, don't worry about tenants tripping over hoses. I can work in the coldest winter now. I mean, I'm not going to go work in at 15 below. I don't want to. But I can throw stuff in the van and go. If I have to, right? Area rugs on hardwood floor. I mean, that's a big deal because there's so little carpet now. The homes where I live, anyways. So I can do carpets on top of hardwood floor now.
Is there? Okay, what's the biggest problem that you've dealt with? Do you think?
Well, two things. One is upholstery is still an issue.
Why is
But
it-
the Von
that's-
Schroeder is a great machine. Now I'm learning how to use it properly. But if I didn't have that, I've just never really been happy with some of the traditional VLM upholstery methods. And maybe it's because I haven't spent enough time to learn them. So that would be a downside. I don't do a lot of upholstery. It's not even 20% of my business.
Oh yeah.
So I can do without it.
Yeah, I do a lot more than you in the area that I'm at. We do a lot of furniture actually. Okay.
But on the carpet side, the major downside, honestly, I can't think of one. I don't have to worry about going to flood jobs anymore because I can't deal with can't do them.
Go away.
No, I don't do restaurants anymore. I still do some commercial, but I can do it on their day off now in the daytime instead of doing it at night. Not always, but for the most part. So, yeah, I'd be hard pressed to find a downside. Once I start getting the results that I was happy with,
There's a learning curve though.
yeah, there was definitely a long learning curve. Should have came and got more training from you, but then I was so busy that I didn't really have time. And yeah, I don't see any real downside. I haven't turned down any work. I lost one job because the husband and wife, they weren't on the same page as to because I talked to her on the phone, explained how I do it, and he hadn't heard that explanation, so he vetoed it, and that's fine. But that's one.
Right.
One job I lost all year, and that's just because someone who wasn't educated.
And well, okay, now one of the questions that a lot of guys are going to be asking is, can you make money?
Yeah, you know, it's not so much even making the money; it's the ability to differentiate yourself, especially when it comes to pet problems. I have so much confidence now on the phone. I say I can't guarantee I'll get them out, but I can show you some photos of recent work I've done, and I know this is the best way of dealing with that kind of problem that I've ever come across. And I've tried lots of different methodologies and products, and what I have now is the best combination I've ever seen.
But the question is, are you making money?
Yeah, I'm making more money. Making more money because I can differentiate myself, therefore I can charge more, and my costs are way less.
You're charging more than what you were doing steam cleaning?
Yeah, but I'm thinking about going up in price now in the new year because I'm realizing that I'm still rushing a little bit to get the per hour dollar that I want, and you can't do that with this business. You have to take the time. It's going to look great, but you got to take the time. You can't rush it. Truck mount, you can rush it a little bit if you're behind schedule. Not with this. You have to do it right. You know, I had this one job that I got as a commercial job, and I was way higher than everybody else by a mile. And the lady asked me if I would drop my price. I said no. I said I found that my full system does the best work, and after doing this for this many years, I want to do the best work I can. I'm not going to cut out any part of it to lower my price. And I got the job.
Was that a government one?
Yeah, it was the government one. I think that was in the last interview. I told you about that one.
Oh.
Yeah, I remember that now. But the confidence I have now on the phone to charge what I want.
What you need.
What I need. Yeah, I was dumb. I mean, if it wasn't for your training, I would have been out of business probably by now. Did not realize how much expenses I actually had because of the cash flow, right?
Yeah. You see the money going. Like, look at all the money I'm making. Where'd it go? Oh, more money, and then it just passing through your hands all the time, and you're thinking you're making money. But the key to this isn't. It's not how much money you make. It's how much money you keep. And that's the key. With this VLM method, listen to this, you guys that are thinking and going this direction. With this method, you will keep more money in your pocket. That's a fact, and you've learned that now. I mean, and when you charge $100 to do a job, what's your minimum now, by the way?
160.
160.
Used to be 100.
Are you having a problem getting it?
No, but I must say there are times when someone just needs one room done, and I say, if you don't mind waiting, I'll swing through when I'm in your area, and if I'm close by, I'll do it for 100 or 120, whatever. It's just one room. Just because if I don't do that, the competition's going to get it, and there's times when you got slow periods and you don't mind. And as long as they're willing to wait, that's the position. I'll put you on my standby list. If you're willing to wait till I'm in the area, I can come by and do that, and they go, yeah.
That's actually a good idea. You haven't told me about that before, but that's a good idea. I think that's because I mean, Roger lives in a rural area, so there's a lot of distance between a lot of the jobs you do.
Yeah.
So a lot more travel. So you don't want to be driving for an hour to go and do a job for 160 if you can do it on the way by for 125 or whatever.
Exactly.
You know, that's different. You know, but if you can, and most people who have a small job do understand that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a fair compromise because I'm going to be there a half hour, 40 minutes. I'm still getting a good hourly wage, you know, and I didn't make the effort to drive 25 minutes to the next town to do it. You know, and people really understand that. Like you told me, they do it for washer repair, for stove repair, for plumber.
Yeah.
You know, they don't bat an eye at it.
Yeah.
You know, and so. Yeah.
It's the carpet cleaner who feels almost embarrassed to charge a decent amount of money for what they do. For some reason, I don't get that, but you know, I do get that in a sense. But it's been so long since I had to address that in my own operation. You know, it's been literally decades now. I mean, when I started 26 years ago now, every $15 a room, my minimum was 30. Oh, I was busy though.
Yeah, you were busy.
I was busy. I mean, no money, but I was busy. And that's the illusion that you can have is being so busy, and you think, oh, look at all the money I'm making, but the reality is that you're not actually making money. It's about the money that you retain, for sure.
You know, it's about your market too. Like I live in an area where there's a lot of retired people, right? And they're on a fixed income, but they're used to taking care of their stuff, right? And so they're gonna call you every year. You know, so I don't mind doing the 1 or 2 bedrooms or there's an emergency because of a cat or someone threw up or whatever.
Yeah. But you have a lot more understanding now of what it actually costs you to operate too.
Right.
That's very important.
Right.
So okay, I'm willing to come by and do that job for $120, $125 in my, as I'm going by your place. But you understand now more that you actually do need to make a certain amount of money rather than you're not as desperate as you once were.
Right. And that's why when you asked me what's the most important thing, I said, on the cleaning side. And what I meant by that is on the stuff you taught me on the business side is really has kept me afloat, right? Because I could have learned to do this and kept my same pricing, and I would have been a little bit better off, but not where I needed to be.
Right.
So
we had we did three jobs today.
Yep.
Well, this was the first day that Roger actually put his hands on the new workhorse vacuum. So can we just have a little rundown of what you thought of that, Roger?
Yeah, I've seen videos before of people vacuuming and canisters full of hair in just one room or whatever.
Yeah.
But to actually experience it for myself, in a small area, how much stuff pulls up.
It's shocking, just shocking.
It's shocking, and what a seller for people, because nobody else can do that. Like the vacuums I've always used were bags. You never got to see how much you pulled up, and you had no idea. But with the way you'd find out is when you went to groom the carpet, there'd be cat hair clumping up.
Yeah.
But with this here, when you can show people that much skin and sand and hair after they've already vacuumed, I think they really feel confident in you that you've done something that they couldn't do,
or no one else did.
and no one else.
Steam cleaners. Those steam cleaners, they never pre-vacuum. There's none of them around here, do they?
Well, on the forums they all do, but in reality, if you're not charging enough, you can't.
No.
That's one of the areas you can cut your time.
Yeah, well, not around here. I don't know of any guy around here that even carries a vacuum on their van.
Well, that place we did today, I said I would have looked at this as a steam cleaner and go, yep, it's clean, let's just do it. And there was so much hair in there.
We filled it. We filled the canister.
Yeah.
It was just full. I mean, and unbelievable.
Yeah.
Then the other one was, where was the other one we did? Not this one, but the one we were.
This was the first one. Yeah, it was just a rug. Remember that rug?
Oh, the little. Oh yeah, the little
dinky little rug.
5x8.
Yeah, yeah.
It was just a really thin polypropylene cheapy rug.
Yeah.
And how much did we get in there? There was like a few inches.
Yeah, it was enough that you showed up on the markers.
Yeah.
On the indicators.
And she'd already vacuumed it.
And she wasn't even worried about that. She was worried about her
stairs. No vacuum it. I said, oh no, we're going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
And then
she was all worried about her stairs, which the short point brought a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty amazing.
Yep. So I have to get one of those now.
Oh dear. Well, anyway, so any parting words of wisdom to those who are listening very carefully to you are a year, should have been not quite a year.
No, 9 months.
9 months into switch over from hot water extraction to VLM, and there's a lot of guys that are thinking of doing this. So, here's your last chance to give them some a pep talk or something. I don't know. Tell them what you think.
Yeah, sure. Learning curve. It's going to be steep. Be prepared to spend more time on jobs. Watch all the videos you can. If you know somebody to mentor you on it, ask questions of when you're on the job or post after a job you're not sure how you did. I was always geared, you know what, if they're not happy, I won't charge them, and I'll just use that as an education thing. But I learned to always ask, and with Truck Mount I was always afraid to ask, what do you think, unless I did a fantastic job and it came up so nice. But even on these ones I have no problem asking, what do you think? And because it's always looks good.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Now I've got over 200 videos on YouTube, and I've been harping away now for a few years that the rotary VLM is a very, very good way to clean carpets. Is it?
Yes.
Is what I'm saying true?
Well, it's been true in my experience. I have only done the orbiter on hallways and big commercial jobs.
You haven't put it into a house yet.
No,
Yeah, Roger's got. He's buying my Orbot.
no, not. Yeah.
He's gonna be pay me $5,000. Wasn't that what we agreed? Well, maybe not quite that much. I don't know. Anyway, so I guess what I was trying to say is, you see, I mean, the job we just did a job where they actually had a bunch of paint on the carpet. We got it out.
Yeah, the extra scrubbing action.
The hog's hair pad.
Yeah, hog's hair pad.
Fantastic. It's
Yeah.
just that's actually the latest sort of improvement in the whole system is using the hog's hair pad, which you've just started using too.
Yeah, I was really fond of the red pads, and then I ran out of them, and I had the hogs. The hogs hair last longer for me. Number one.
They do actually. Yeah.
And number two, now that I've learned more and I'm, use more dwell time, go back over again, I'm noticing it's all I need.
Yeah.
I still like the red pad, and after testing this, I like the red pad when I know there's been a pet in the house and it's really, vacuuming lots of hair. I think it doesn't clog up the pad. Like hog's hair will just clog up, and then it's useless. The red pad won't do that. It'll kind of clump it and throw it out, and you can vacuum it later. But I haven't tested that enough to be sure.
I just washed them out. My hog's hairs.
Yeah, it doesn't, all that hair on there doesn't wash out very well.
Oh, well, it's not good enough.
Maybe when I get one of those workforce vacuums, it'll take care of that.
There you go. when you were a big boy. But I guess the final question I have for you is Roger having fun cleaning carpets?
Yep. Yeah. Number one, nothing scares me now. I don't have to worry about how bad it is or what the issue is. And I know I'm not going to be dead, tired, exhausted at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. And I've learned one thing: if it's a bigger job, just allow more time. And that's why I have to raise my prices, because I have to account for that somehow.
Yeah.
But overall, charging more than I did before, the truck now making more, did in a sense give me more time, granted me more time to spend on a job because I was making more. So, yeah, it's fun. I mean, there's some days I get frustrated. But when you get those big wins where people are just flabbergasted how well it came out.
Are they getting flabbergasted?
They are.
more
Especially when it's pet stains.
More so than when you were truck mounting?
Yeah, I would say, if I'm being honest, I would say yes. I mean, with truck mounting, there's some jobs, you can get in some really dirty stuff and it looks really, really nice. And then you never hear about it, so you don't know if it'll work back or not.
Mm.
Some people would, call you back, then you'd know.
Okay.
So there was never the certainty of it.
Okay, here's my one more question. How many jobs have you had to go back and redo because they weren't happy with the results?
I think one room didn't come up as well as I thought, or maybe I missed the strip or something. I can't remember. I think once I had to go back.
Was it a legitimate complaint?
Yep.
Was it operator error?
It was probably either operator error or not taking enough time, or not being certain about it. I voluntarily went back on a commercial job because they had a huge coffee stand. Someone was carrying coffee to the neighbors, and the coffee went and spilt the whole thing. And I did the hauls, and then she phoned back and said, well, that came back. So I went and did it again, that one area, and it hasn't come back since. So I may have been too aggressive with it, and it worked back. So the next time I just sprayed down lightly and went over it, and then
Part of the learning curve.
Part of the learning curve. Yeah. I just don't get the calls back. I mean, the best way to do that would be to phone people a couple days later and say, hey, we always check up, see how things went. I never had the confidence to do that.
Oh.
But maybe now I will.
Well, what I always tell people is when I'm done the job, I just tell them that if you have any questions or concerns, just give us a call. And actually, I had one I had to go back and do something to. Oh, I know what it was. It was a stain on one step, and it was dog barfed on it, and it looked like it was gone. But I told her when I left, I said, if that stain is, if it's still there visible tomorrow, just give me a call and I'll drop by. And she called like 2 days later, and like I was there within like 45 minutes. I was at her place, treated it, gone, done, and it just needed just that little extra.
Yeah.
But that's so rare, so rare.
I had one lady call me back. It reminds me of, she had a little dog and there's dog spots, right?
Yeah.
A month later, 2 months later, she phones back. Yeah, that spot reappeared. I'm skeptical, so I go there, and she's not in the room. I touch the spot. There's
Wet.
3 of them. They're wet. And I go, oh, I'm just curious, like, why you didn't call me back right away? She goes, oh, I got really busy and didn't have time.
Yeah.
Okay. So I ended up doing that in the room again. I forgot about that one.
You didn't charge
No, I
her,
didn't
no,
charge
no.
you for it. No.
No, it's not worth it.
No,
You
it's
know,
not.
you're better to take care of your people and whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Well, is that all we got?
That's all we got. You drained me.
Oh dear.
The well is empty.
Oh dear.
I have to go do some more jobs and learn some more things.
Okay. Till next time, eh?
If we're still here in the new year, yeah.
If we're still here. If the world hasn't ended, which it might, the way things are going, eh? Okay. Adios.